I got to high school, that's when I recognized that it was incredibly difficult for me to keep pace. I tested into the, not going to be hard on myself, but the not smart children, not smart teenagers math. So I was in coincidentally with the same math teacher my father had, and we both went to the same high school. He graduated in 1957. I graduated in 1989. We were in not smart boys math, and I remember getting a phone call from the school that I was on the brink of failing out, and really, was the kid that was involved in all of the activities, but just never a great student. So, going through life, not knowing what that was, I think the thing where you beat yourself up is just you think you're stupid.
Yeah.
And that's pretty hard because you don't want to be so hard on yourself, but you can't help but think that you're dumb. And you're watching people, I went to a college prep called St. Ignatius College Preparatory for Boys. So you're watching people excelling, and you're watching friends take AP classes, and here you are barely able to look at a page of math problems. So when my daughter is in high school, my son goes to a similar school in Los Angeles and does well. If he has it, it's not as severe. And then his problem is most likely just being a little on the lazy side. He's capable of doing incredible work, but, doesn't put forth, like a lot of kids, his maximum effort. And then with my daughter, teachers are constantly saying that she needs help. She goes to a school, but she's getting good grades. So she's getting a 4.0. She's getting a 4.2 grade point average, which I'm not sure in the UK or internationally how that translates, but, better than A, because she's taking advanced courses, honors classes, does really well in math. But what the assessment said, you pay money to go get her actually assessed. They've never seen anyone like her or she's in a very small percentile because she fought through. She actually has the same severe ADHD that I had and she just powered through. She stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning. She got her work done. And when the woman told my wife, she said, most kids like her completely give up and don't try. And that was me. And when we started talking about this in a therapy session to get her prescribed for medication, I immediately just started bawling because I had flashbacks to all of these horrible moments in my life where I just completely felt unable to do the work. And it wasn't until I think I was not the best student in high school, even though I participated in all the activities. I wrote sketches for rallies that they had at the school for like spirit rallies. I, was in the musical. I did student body government. I wrote a speech and ran for student body treasurer and won by a landslide. And then I ran, all my life I did sort of run for student body president, and it was always very well liked and popular and participated really in all of the extracurricular stuff. But in terms of the actual schoolwork, I might have been the worst student in my class that was completely passed through school. And then I distinctly remember going up to a physics teacher, Dr. Parker, and saying, "Doctor, I feel like I'm in danger of failing your class." And because he had, as a joke, put my grade well below everyone else's when he posted, hit return a couple of times on the keyboard and put Madrigal 53%. And he
That's kind of harsh.
is, but whatever. It's kind of fun too. And he put his hand on my shoulder and he goes, "Mr. Madrigal," old man, he goes, "For students like you, I don't believe in Fs. I believe in Bs. Have a great summer." Because he knew I was involved in all of these other things. So it's like, they kind of passed me along. I went back to the school to speak. I'm notable alumni based on all of the things I've accomplished. And one of the math teachers that I had, she said, "We don't have kids like here at you anymore. They don't even exist. We need them, but they don't even come here anymore. They can't get in." So I never would have been able to go to my high school. The joke I say is I probably shouldn't have been going to my high school back then. So I ended up graduating and struggling quite a bit when I went to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, which is a sort of state school in California. and ended up finishing at USF. By the time I got to USF, I finished with a 3.8 grade point average because it was smaller classes. And I knew what I needed to do the work. I knew that I didn't have too many chances left.